Hello there everyone and welcome back. It is time to do something completely different there. More like a preparation for something more to come. I am really hoping, as with the announcement of Total War Warhammer 3 just recently, I have had a really big interest to get back into Total War. And in all honesty, I haven't really played all that much of Total War in general, with the exception of Warhammer itself, and even then I may have only played maybe 20-25 hours at most. But what I'm ultimately going to have, what I ultimately rather want to do, is make preparations to jump into the multiplayer of this game, as back when Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2 came out, I believe the word was a handful of players from Total War came over to try that game out, and now we're going to have our own kind of like version of that invasion from Armada, was it Battlefleet Gothic, over to Total War. At least I'm going to make the attempt. I don't think there's anyone else who's going to rally to my war cry, but what I have in mind in preparation for that, since I don't think I'm going to dive into the multiplayer until the official release of Warhammer 3. So, what am I going to do? I'm going to play around with the campaign. I am not going to cheese it. I'm not going to do a bunch of gimmicks or like mass beast creatures to kind of roll over everything. I want to try and challenge myself. Realistically, ideally. I don't know how well it's going to go since I haven't really played a whole lot outside of Bretonnians, Lizardmen, and a little bit of the Beastmen, I think. I don't know how much I played the Beastmen to be honest, but I played a little bit of them regardless. But it was mostly Bretonnians and the Lizardmen, and the factions I'm going to be playing as is going to be drastically different than that. Also with that said, I think it might be more fun to play around with the Mortal Empires as opposed to the story campaign. As I don't think I'm going to play through this entire campaign anyway, this is again more to help get me more familiar with this game, at least attempt to, and try to learn a little bit about controlling my army and all the other little nuances before we really dive into the meat of the multiplayer, which could be at the end of the year, it could be a few months from now. Who knows when Total War Warhammer 3 is going to come out. That is my ambitious goal, and since it's been forever since I truly played a single player game, outside maybe the intensity of XCOM 2, it's kind of refreshing to dive back in, even if it is to kind of practice and prepare for something even more intense, arguably. Although I am going to have to really think on how I'm going to streamline this and make it as enjoyable to watch as possible, for I'm very likely going to skip through, at least on the YouTube video, a lot of the one-side battles, outside of just auto-resolve battles, which I'm going to try to avoid, for the sake of my own learning experience, and just cut out those one-side bouts, those really easy stomps. So that way we can hopefully focus on the main strategizing of my economy, my infrastructure, and of course the big grand battles that could give me a lot of problems. With that said though, what faction am I thinking of playing as? We have a lot to choose from there, to both the elves, lizardmen of course, humans, all sorts of different humans, and Bretonnians and the regular humans, vampire counts. There's Dread Corsairs in here, but I did not unlock that DLC I believe. But ultimately, I am choosing to go with, where are they? The Skavens. A little bit of the opposite of what I'm used to. Whereas Lizardmen are really resilient and have pretty good leadership, hard to break, and Bretonnians are sort of the same with the caveat that they're front line, they're peasants, and foot soldiers are pretty fragile. The Skaven are going to be very cowardly, they're going to be running around a lot, retreating a lot at that. So trying to manage that mess, even in small battles, could be a handful for me until I get used to the feel of them. And most importantly, even though technically he's probably terrible for multiplayer just due to the fact he has no mount for mobility, I'm going to have fun with Quick Head Taker. For a simple reason that I like more my lords being melee focused or at least combat oriented, as opposed to wizards like Lord Skrulk here. So I'm going to avoid the cheesy little wizards and have them be my support heroes instead, when at all possible. I am also going to avoid the legendary difficulty, as from what I understand, I have been looking into videos trying to learn the nuances of this game. Legendary and Fairy Hard probably counteract or go against what I'm ultimately dreaming for this campaign. Whereas just hard difficulty just give them very slight buffs. Was it maybe around 10% increase to leadership and their health in general? At most, at least. And it gets really ridiculous on Fairy Hard and Legendary, which is why I'm not even going to look at them. It probably does not teach me a whole lot. And as far as the Chaos Evasion, I know very little about them, let alone if we're even going to get to them. Considering, again, I'm Skaven, I'm basically on the very opposite of the map, almost, of where the Chaos Evasion is going to come from, which is up top, up in the north here. But I think for the fun of it, we'll just leave it on hard, if we ever get to that point. It's hard to say, but with me kind of fast-tracking through the turns, with the YouTube series, we may get to that point a lot sooner than I may realize. And also another thing, I'm probably going to try and skip through a lot of the turns, as there's a lot of loading times and delays involved with just progressing through the turns with so many different factions, and of course just the loading and finishing up between battles as well. There's going to be a lot of downtime as well. But with that said, this is our hero. He's, of course, pretty self-explanatory with a name called Quick Headtaker. He's all about killing other lords, other heroes, other single entities. I don't know if he's really equipped for dealing with single monstrous entities or really large creatures. That's something I'm going to have to learn over time. But apparently, yeah, he steals experience from other lords, which is going to be interesting. It doesn't say exactly how much, but that is a... We are going to be power leveling Queek, without a doubt, and he's going to be our main fighting force. Chieftains, which I believe are hero warlords, and by heroes, they're basically... They can't control their own army, but they're still very powerful elite soldiers, essentially. And they have other functions as well for being heroes. And other effects, melee bonuses, let's see, fighting against dwarfs and greenskins. Queek has a bit of history with them, and particularly... I can't remember the exact lore of him, but he's the one Skaven that interests me most, with that said. Especially since I painted like an actual metal model of him when the Skaven had their codex updated, back when I was really heavily into the tabletop game. I didn't really have a Skaven team, but I was ultimately pretty happy with how he was painted, even though I wasn't really much of a painter at the time. And otherwise, more bonuses for fighting dwarves and greenskin, and he likes his storm vermin and clan rats, which are basically frontline soldiers, with the storm vermin being more elite infantry, for when I need something reliable. I'm going to have to learn these stats as we go. But most importantly, I have a nice siege weaponry, which is going to make initially fighting my opponents really convenient. Since they're not going to have their own artillery for a good long while, I believe, and that forces them to come to me, as opposed to me having to get aggressive on them, which maybe could incur a bad habit. We will have to see. Otherwise, we have an ability called Menace Below, which allows us to just literally spawn free units onto the enemy, which could be a lot of fun if done right. And there are other traits here which I'm going to have to learn, as well as special mechanics like the food here, which is basically unique to every single faction. There's going to be a lot of them. Like Lizardmen have like ley lines based on the cities that if you can connect them together, you get bonuses. Let's see, Bretonians, like they have a chivalry mechanic, so if you avoid doing like dishonorable things like raiding, killing, assassinations, and other things related to that don't rely on just fighting honorably, then they kind of lose bonuses or they gain bonuses if you can keep on that route. Just to give you vague examples. But I talked on long enough. This is probably really boring. Let's get to the meat of this and see if we can make this as entertaining as I hope for. As I promise you, things will get a lot better in time, especially when I eventually dive into the multiplayer for when Warhammer 3 comes out.
Blessings of filth to you, Quick Headtaker, the right claw of clan Moors. You and your verminous ilk infest the abandoned mountain strongholds of the dwarfs, who still fight with the greenskins for control, seemingly unaware of your power. The City of Pillars, your traditional haunt, is but a skitter leap north. This lair is fought over by dwarf and goblin things, but is rightfully yours. Further north, the peaks teem with more hated beard things. Manifest your obscene fury upon them, and let them discover why you are called Head Taker. On the periphery, the treacherous wastes herald a sandstorm of the undead. They may become a nuisance, but how you deal with them is for you to decide. For now, causing mayhem in the mountains may sate your verminous appetite. There are many heads to take, and so little time. Get to it.
We will indeed there. So, a lot of basic stuff here I'm going to have to consider. Is Skaven like to corrupt stuff? Cause a lot of blight and plague? And I worry a bit that could cause me more problems than it's probably worth. Until I understand the nuances. As public order is basically a representation of the stability we have of our region, and if that gets too negative, we will have to deal with rebellions, which is a bit problematic. And because we're kind of plaguing our own cities, that's where it can be a bad thing despite the green positive modifier for us. It can be great for neighboring regions if we don't plan to conquer them anytime soon. But with that said, here's good old quick head taker. We got our first initial objectives: capture a bunch of settlements, kill a bunch of people, get a lot of food. Now, with that said, I think my main focus is to try and focus on economy ideally, especially since we have a rare resource here in the obsidian. So I want to benefit off that. I just, for the life of me, can't understand where the plus 75% is coming from though. That confused me when I had a quick look at the layout before doing this recording. But I think I want to do that even though I really would like to get a hero character. We have a lot of options available to us. I would like to get a wizard of some kind pretty quickly in the Plague Priest, as magic can be pretty important resource, especially when I don't currently have anything to take advantage of that. And all these buildings, while you increase public order, you might be worth grabbing, but they increase, well, at least this increased the Skaven corruption, which I don't know if I want to do. So we'll keep it simple. We'll get the... Oh, that increases untainted. Well, I think I'm okay with that for now. But like I said, we'll focus on the money. And let's have a quick look at our layout. We have adversaries down here, which I believe... Are these orcs or Skaven? These look like they are just orcs, I think. I think that's what the logo is. I'm assuming, because every single faction basically had their own unique silhouettes, so I'm assuming these are orcs, from what I'm judging. Now that we have vision of this settlement, let's have a double look. Yeah, just simple orcs. Nothing too scary here. This first episode, though, I'll probably showcase all the battles, just to give a little bit of understand what this game is about. If by chance you don't know what this game really entails, you may have heard Total War, but you may not have really seen it all that much. And I am really excited to get into the multiplayer. In truth though, I only played maybe 3, maybe 4 serious multiplayer matches, and a lot of them were team-based focus. One of them was a 1v1 where I played as Bretonians, that's all I can recall. And okay, I could conveniently recruit people, but I have to be encamped. And the problem with that, with these stances that I can enact, it does require me to have a certain amount of movement available. So I'm not going to upgrade, or at least increase my army size, which there is a limit of 20. And I also have access to research, but that requires buildings, Skaven corruption. I'm curious about this, but there's a lot to look at, which I think we can save until after recording. And since we haven't really discovered anything yet, and it's a fresh campaign, everything should just rapidly go on through. Although there will have to be some camera settings I'll have to look into as well, to fine-tune things the way I want. And like I also said, I'm probably going to skip through these turns because, as you can see, there are a lot of different factions. And with how big this is, as it develops more, that is going to take a long time. Outside of certain noteworthy events, I'm probably just going to skip all those preceding turns just to speed things along for everyone. But as you can see, this is a big place. So big it's just tanking my frame rate for no reason, it feels like. So we're going to avoid doing that then. Now, we are in striking range. I wonder how much of this is... Oh, extort income. A little bit's from my corruption, but apparently they're taking their own money. The silly orcs. They're doing themselves a disservice. I don't even feel like attacking a settlement for that alone. But let's have some fun, shall we? Queek needs to have more skulls on his little rack on his back. Although, I wasn't expecting it to be this one-sided. Mess below. Okay, there's a food cost to get more of these. Which I don't want to do. Not until I have a better understanding, but like I said, Menace Below allows me to summon free units essentially. And apparently I could set how many charges I want of that, which can be great. They are not permanent though, so I'm going to have to be decisive with them. And a quick overview of my army. We have 2 Stormvermin, which are my main frontline units that are probably going to be my most reliable troops. The Clan Rats, which, as it says on the modifier, they are meant to be expendable. Does it say anything specific? Nah. It's just... I think these are really just advice on how you should use them, essentially. And not really, like, modifiers, to my understanding. Okay, I was wondering how the hell Clan Rats were resilient, but I guess not. Alright. We have 3 squads of these Clan Rats there. We have Slingers, which are basically infiltration units, or gutter runners rather. So they're going to be backstabbing, they're trying to get free damage for me. And they're relatively easy to control, I believe, if they are skirmishers. So that's going to be a lot of fun there. And of course our artillery lightning cannon, which is going to be a lot of fun. If only sadly not really much to shoot at outside these orc boys. They're anti-large, which I believe anything that's... I don't think there's an easy way to tell what's considered large, but I believe cavalry units, maybe black orcs as an example, are considered large units. It's really hard to say, because I don't recall seeing that when I was playing with my lizardmen.
Battle fight, yes, yes!
Alright, Queek, I'll let you have your fight. He's getting hungry, and I'm sure we all are. It's been 18, 19 minutes almost, and absolutely nothing has happened. If anything, I am slow but purposeful, like the broadside suits of the Tau Empire. Either way, hopefully things will speed up once I do get a nuance and grasp of what we're going here. And with that said, I'm going to try and have my formation at least reminiscent on what it should be for multiplayer, at least how I understand it. Even though it may be unnecessary against AI, but again, I'm trying to be very deliberate with my control too. And like I said, these guys are infiltration units. They can deploy anywhere outside this white line, basically. And I believe, what is it? Stalk, so they can be hidden in pretty much any terrain. I don't know how close they can get before being revealed, though. But there's not really a lot of hiding spots. So we'll have them there for now. Quick Head Taker, you're good. Stormfirmer is set, and then... I don't know what I want to do with the Clan Rats, to be fair. Because at the same time, I want them to be the fodder, but I don't want them to die too quickly, because as soon as I take the settlement, I want to kind of conquer more stuff after all. Okay, yeah, I can make these things a lot wider formation. Actually, let me do this a little bit different. Stormfirmer, the second wave or second row, and slaves are in the front. I think this works a little bit better. It makes a little more sense to me. As once they start faltering, or if one side gets hit really hard, the Stormvermin can get in position to just start pummeling them. And the siege weapons, there's not really much elevation here that I can take advantage of, as I believe these warp lightnings are kind of direct fire weapons, as opposed to flinging like cannons or boulders at them. Hey, Queek, You just go there. Oh yeah, you're group 2 already. And there, that's a nice convenience. I don't have to have all of group 2 selected to have them set up appropriately. Alright. I think we're ready to go. And I think another thing we're going to try and do is avoid pausing. At least for later on in the battles, it's going to probably be essential as I figure this out. There.
Yes, Master Lord.
I'm going to have to get used to that control some a bit too, but... Nope. Now, I think I go after Orc boys. You go harass.
For clan, for me.
Actually, I don't think let's just have you guys wait. Take what free shots we can. Because you don't poison or do anything like skinks. You just harass and do free damage. And the Warp Lightning's going to try and take out their boys here, which... Where's the Earth Squad? Okay. The plan, I think, is to have Stormfirmers take these guys out. And have these guys ready. I'm going to actually need Queek over on this side. As these guys are already pretty weakened right now. And if I can get a good flank on these boys, that'd be great. As these rats are going to get crippled really quickly. Actually, can I get away with flanking with the Storm Vermin? They're not going to last very long. Well, I have Storm Vermin already going in, so I don't think I have to worry about that. Oh, and they have spells, or... No, that's their Wog ability is what happened there. So, from what I understand, we're going to have a melee attack with these guys. The Gutter Runners are going to force them off the map. I don't know if that's the best strategy, but that's what I'm going to try. And I got to be very careful. These Warp Lightnings are going to do damage to me, with that said. But they're breaking. We're going to flank the Orc Boys before they do too much damage. This maybe seemed a little bit more scary than I realized, since after all, the Skaven slaves are just going to fall apart on me after all normally. And Gutter Runners are just going to force them off the map, at least until they kill something. And can I tell these guys to hold fire? I don't think I need them to fire anymore. I think we're good. So let's just take this moment to admire Queek doing his dirty work. Well, he's not murdering some orcs right now, so we need to fix that. He looks like he's just slacking off. Speaking of which, I forgot one very important thing, because it's really easy to neglect. Now, just making sure this is working as it should. I should be spawning these guys because they're quite literally expendable troops. Okay, they're shattered. That's what the skull means. Which means they will never rally at this point. So get Gutter Runners over there. Queek, you have your fun. And they're about to break. Yeah, they're also shattered. We're good here. Victory's ours. I could continue to pummel them, but it's not like it's a Lord's army where they could still survive. One of the fun things I like to do is use this downtime to just accelerate and kill like an elite Lord, and ideally kill it entirely. That way they're even more crippled for any preceding battles that might happen afterwards. So that was a big mistake forgetting about my clan, summoning my expendable slaves. Especially since I don't think there's a hotkey for that ability either, which makes it even harder to remember, as opposed to spells, which I can use, Alt 1 to Alt 6, I think, to access them in an easy manner. Either way, it was a lot simpler than I thought. Well, it pretty much said it was, like, decisive, one-sided, so should I really be surprised? I was led to believe that clan slaves or the clan rats are just cowards and will run away at the first sign of a battle. So they held their own somehow.
Make quick rich.
So let's see, expand under Empire.
Make it my nest.
Loot and occupy, what is this?
Send minions. Find treasure warpstone.
Interesting. So we can raise for food and money.
Flood with warp fire.
We can sack it. Yeah, it looks like loot and occupy is what I want. And I can spend food to increase the level of it, which is just really the headquarters, I believe.
I claim this for clan.
I think I'm going to grab this because it is for the region. And it is one of my objectives after all to try and capture a handful of settlements. Yeah, we had gained control of the entire province because of that,
More trophies. Yes, yes.
which is both these regions. And as a result of that, I can get other bonuses. I can choose one of these benefits. At least one of them, and that will help a little bit. Like Untainted. I think I want that especially for my capital. I think that's a very good plan. Generate food and generate corruption. I don't think I want to do that here. Out of all the places, I don't want to do it here in the Cardinal Valley. So I think we're set there. Are these going to automatically repair? Or do I have to pay? It will slowly repair itself over time. Okay, I'm fine with waiting. I don't want to burn money if I can help it.
More trophies. Yes, yes.
But I can upgrade you for more money. Gives me more building slots, and it gives me stronger garrison for when it gets attacked. I think that will be the plan there. We have a lot of money. We're building here at the moment. And I want level 3 of this, so I can get access to the Plague Sorcerers, ideally, to join with my army. And Queek has gotten his first level in. The honest question is, how to best take advantage of him. I don't know really the meta. I'm just going to go with what seems fun and hopefully appropriate for our character. Route Marcher seems like a really good start. I don't know if I want to go with any of these other traits at the moment, which could be useful. But Route Marcher seems perfect for just being able to be maneuverable. And no, I don't want to repair, so let's skip that.
Tell Nordwell of Quick's victory.
We'll need technology pretty soon. As just like with not having a sorcerer, I am missing out on all my resources if I don't do that. Now, turn 3. I have opportunities down here. This is a ruined settlement here, which makes me feel like there might be Skaven. A rival Skaven clan might be here. As that actually is an option with what you just briefly saw when I conquered the city. I had an option to not really settle it, and it became just, it became part of the Under Empire, I suppose, and I could benefit off it. Okay, we have an army here. Ah, dang it, this would have been a good opportunity to reinforce or get more troops. As I think, right now, yeah, they're just getting a bigger army. And with the city backing them up, that is not going to be good for me to try and fight that. Otherwise, level 2, Untainted, more income. I like the sounds of that. I could get an extra lord here. It's not a ridiculous idea. But I want to get more troops first, which I kind of missed out on an opportunity to do that right there. And you just want me to repair, which I'm not content with doing right now. So let's see where these orc boys go. They're probably just going to continue to build up their army. And be a bit of a pain, probably. But it looks like they did nothing. They're just reinforcing, which is, again, a bit of a problem. Right now, they're just garrisoned, though. Although I need to stay within my border, which will be right here, basically, if I want to actually be able to reinforce in a quick manner. Yeah, with the amount of troops they have there, I have only 8 to their 12, plus whatever is in the city. Not a good exchange. Maybe I should have gone after them right away. That could have been a possible mistake, but what do I want to get? Well, first off, let me have a quick look at what they have. I see. Well, I don't really see a whole lot, sadly. Yeah, and I don't have any heroes to detect what the rest of the army is. I just know there's orc boys, probably a handful of goblins. I don't think they're going to have anything too scary, outside of what we just already saw.
Mine.
Expendable meat shield. They're mostly a harassment unit, which is not terrible. Shouldn't need spears. My choices are clan rats, or more clan rats, basically. Not exactly a lot of choice for me at the moment, is there? Are these guys even really worth getting? They're cheap as hell, so they're better than nothing. And then I can hopefully kill them off for something better later on. And their missile infantry, they're good at just harassing with the gutter runners, or at least covering the gutter runners' escape, actually. Let me get at least one clan rank, because I get a free level up or rank on them, it seems. And I shouldn't need spears, because again, spears are good against larger units, as it says on the modifier. Which I don't even know what's considered large outside of cavalry and things bigger than that.
Where no flies.
And you are building troops. Okay, I was worried there. We'll skip that for now. And I can't build anything here. Yeah, you're still upgrading, that's why.
Of betrayal strong.
This could be a scary fight, but I don't think the orcs are going to come after me. What ultimately that means is I'm going to have to be the first aggressor or just ignore them completely, which just sounds like a terrible idea. But I need to feel comfortable I could take them out.
Not for all that truth in the world.
I don't think I can take them out, is the problem.
Gracious scum away.
I probably could if I keep building up, but that is part of the goal, that is part of the experimentation. And honestly, I don't recall if there was an Iron Man mode. I did not bother to look at that, if I were to be completely honest. So I'm going to use this as a learning opportunity to play this game, at least challenge myself. I think I could take on this army as it currently is. It's really just the settlement that's scaring me right now. This is going to be risky. There is always a chance. Well, I could raid them for money and income. That's always possible, but if I ambush them, that would be the best case, as I think that keeps the reinforcements from taking part. But it's not guaranteed. It allows me to aggressively ambush, whereas the ambush trait itself, I need to be kind of hidden and not moving, essentially. They have to walk into me, which I don't know how dumb the AI is with doing that.
Stab, stab, die, die.
Step time.
Kill, slay, maim.
Okay. This may not be as bad as I thought it would be. It's looking 50-50 with this little fluctuation kind. What was it say? No, it doesn't tell me anything about this bracketed area. Or this mix. So the odds are looking good. How many of this menace below do I want? I think 5 might be good. Now that I'm actually investing resources into it, it should make it a little more easier for me to remember this cursed thing.
Who dares challenge
Otherwise,
me?
spider hatchlings. Ew, that's not at all pleasant, but it looks like they're just hatchlings, not large creatures like I was talking about. A lot of orcs, generically shielded orcs, which might be a pain for my clan slaves. Archers, arrow boys, they'll be annoying. But if what is their mobility? 33 and 31. I think my rats are just naturally faster. This is where the micromanagement is going to come in. I can avoid them and just harass. Expendable. Okay, so that's one of the main benefits there. It doesn't hurt anyone else if they die a foolish death.
Time for things to die, die.
Die indeed.
Gouger is ready.
Now, the big question is how to get the most out of Queek. The first thing that comes to my mind is killing the Lord, as I think he's a duelist. As I kind of mentioned already, he wants to fight single entities and not really armies. as I don't think he really does cleave or AoE damage. Best used against individual targets. He's good at anti-infantry, he has armor piercing. So yeah, that's the plan. Fighting small infantry or fighting the Lord, which I think is his main task, if we can get away with it. Now let's figure out our formation, as we do have a bit of slopes here, not much of one. And that does give us very minor bonuses. Very minor, keep in mind. Especially with the amount of height we have to work with. We got slingers here. We're gonna have you do I want... You're not Vanguard, are you? Well, first it helps if I have them in the proper group. Okay. Only the gunner runners are Vanguards, which is that little icon on top there, and they're currently hidden. That's the easiest way to tell. So I think with their mobility and skirmisher traits, I want them to harass. In all honesty, it might be better over here to help protect the Warp Lightning, but if the AI goes after them, then that might leave the Warp Lightning vulnerable. I don't think I want to do that. And how do I want to put the rest of my army? If I could fight in this little dip here, that might protect me a little bit. And I don't think I'm in the perfect spot for said Warp Lightning anyway. Now that just leaves the rest of the army. There's a Storm Vermin, we'll have them as the second wave. We have 4 Clan Rats, which are going to be perfect for up front. Just again, we'll just do a standard frontal type of deployment. And actually, let me get these dang slaves out of the way to make this a little bit easier. And I actually can make these wider. That's probably a good idea. It widens the formation a bit. Probably makes them that much more vulnerable to being flanked is a bit of the problem. But I don't think the AI is going to be smart enough to take advantage of that. Actually, let's just spread out a little bit, because I don't think the Stormvermin are going to be able to get in very easily. I think that works a little bit better just for the Stormvermin getting through. And then Slingers. I don't know what I want to do a few there. Harassing is an option. But yeah, I think what they could do is maybe go over here and protect the Warp Lightning. And then of course do some flanking damage, which means I can have more, what is it, Queek? And the Storm Vermin focus more on the right side. I think it's a plan. So group all these together. And let's get started. Oh, how fast are these guys? 61. Yeah, this could be problematic, as I did not consider the spider's speed. And these guys are skirmishers, but they can't fire with moving. Oh yeah, they have snare nets, so that could be helpful as well. Oh, this might be pretty bad, because they're just coming straight at me. I can get clan rats or clan slaves to kind of buffer. And that will distract them a bit while I pummel them. Yeah, they have a snare net, so I wasn't too worried about them getting trapped. Arrow boys are shooting me. Try and shoot them there. I'm more worried about the archers, but I don't think I'm going to get the opportunity I want all that great. Stormvermin take on the Lord. I may have made a mistake there not positioning these guys the best, but... And can they help out? I'm trying to figure out where my gunner runners are now. Okay, they're still doing their job, essentially. Now, maybe that was a little preemptive there, a little bit. Although the warp lightning's getting attacked right now. Now, can they attack? Nah, they're breaking. That's not really much of a surprise. And what are you? You're just clan rats that broke. Not really much of a surprise. Head taker is... Ah, dang it. Not going well so far. The warp lightning... Actually, warp lightning, can you shoot? I would like you to shoot, you're just not shooting. And what are my gunner runners doing? They're just being annoying, being distracting. But I don't think the warp lightning's... Yeah, the warp lightning's kind of disembarked and getting destroyed right now. So the flanking maneuver was a mistake. And Queek is not killing the Lord just yet. So this is looking a bit of a rout. I'm just wondering what could I do in the meantime, because they have more range units than me. The warp lightning could soften them up nicely, but I think I positioned it poorly. I should have had... It seemed like a good idea at the time, I just did not anticipate how wide their formation would be. And the gunner runners can't move and shoot. That's something I did not consider either. And Queek is also routed. Alright. Judging by what that said, it's supposed to be a possible fight. How do I get the most out of my warp lightning, though? Well, really, just having some kind of slave rats just be a distraction? Well, the problem is they would not do enough damage. They would just get demolished, eaten, and then they would still attack the warp lightning. I think realistically that's the only thing I have going for me there. So I am not ashamed to give that another try. This is part of the learning experience. The problem is I don't really have a lot of tools to really get the most out of my army. At least it feels like it. As I don't really know what to expect out of my slave rats either, but use them to interrupt the archers seem like a great idea. I just can only summon them one at a time though, which is a bit of a problem. And I think the battle is ultimately going to be decided by the time I can even use multiple variations of my menace below, which is a bit of the main problem.
Attack! Attack! Who dares
I can
challenge
encircle
me?
them. They will likely attack me.
Not my fault.
It's looking really even.
Gouge
So there are ways I can win this fight. It's just a matter of knowing how to make use of all my resources.
Time for things to die. Die.
We'll give it another try and see at the very least of improving. Most obvious thing would be to try and position my lightning artillery a little bit better. I don't really want them behind me unless they have good elevation, as I don't think they're going to get good shots on the orcs as a result of that. Again, not really good terrain, unless I go over here. That's the only thing I could think of that allows me to shoot over my own friendly units. Which means I need to be very diligent. I have to make sure all my units are deployed there. Let's give this another try. Actually, can I? Yep, just expand them. Get these guys spread out. Quick, you're set. It's honestly a question, what do I do with the slaves? I like the idea of them harassing, but they're supposed to be expendable, so maybe I had the wrong idea with them. And actually, mobility. Is it possible I can have one of these slaves actually backstab the archers? Which sounds impossible because they could shoot me while I run in there. And then, of course, they're ultimately going to break. Doesn't sound like a good idea. But this sounds like a much better formation, just in that it protects my warp lightning a little bit better. Now, Mork, you're in. Or Queek, I keep calling you Mork or More. I don't know why. You guys go in there. And I don't really need to worry about the warp lightning too much. But what's this? Anti-large. There's sadly nothing in large to shoot at. And what does dodge exactly do? If it says anywhere. No, just scurry away and all that. Which is an interesting little trait. But, this is something I'm going to have a little bit of problem figuring out, is these slingers. I almost regret having them a little bit, as I don't think they're really going to do what I want of them. Alright, let's give this another try. Now, I know I could do well against the spiders. We've seen that happen already. Warp lightning, just shoot at the biggest blob, as I don't know if shooting the Lord is a good idea. He's just a regular orc. There's nothing really fancy about him yet. And actually, maybe you guys can serve as fodder for the gutter runners. If I'm so lucky, that might be a good use. You know you're allowed to fight. I don't think they're that terrifying. Not yet. Oh, what? I'm trying to figure out. There is no hotkey. Just harass the archers a bit, so maybe they don't shoot me. They're not going to do too much, though, because they're already getting slaughtered, but... Can we continue to shoot this horde a bit? Nope, they're all skirmishing a bit, so... Hopefully they can do a bit of a better job, but since I turn off skirmish mode, I'm gonna need to be careful now. Where is Queek? Alright. Get these guys in there, flanking. Not doing a very good job there, alas. Now, where is the Lord? Alright, he's right there in the middle of everything right now. And I don't have access. Oh, Queek. You know what to do there, Queek. Although, I don't think this is helping a whole lot, sadly. I like to think they're doing their weight and distracting me, the opponents, but probably not as much as it could. Sadly, I don't think the slaves are really doing anything, sadly. I would need more units. So maybe I just have a bad army for this, but the Lord is about to die. There is something to this. Immune to psychology, although I don't think Queek can get him. It would be nice if I could, but oh, gotta get these guys back in there. They're probably really important. That and the fact if they could somehow grab this lord, that would be great. I don't know how it's going to affect the situation for me, though. But Stormvermin are doing their thing. They just need backup. Can slaves of all things kill them off? Don't really have a lot of health, so maybe not. Oh, these guys are getting wrecked right now. If only I had finished off the Lord with Queek, this would be maybe a bit better situation for me. Because right now my Stormvermin are completely surrounded. Maybe I found a use for my slingers a little bit by having them maybe just chase down those that are routed. Yeah, these guys aren't going to kill him in time, are they? And my Warp Lightning is currently unmanned. So simple lesson learned there. It was way too close and they easily got on top of it, even though I really do like the elevation a bit. So maybe I should move the army forward. As the Stormvermin lasted a good while. It's just as soon as it was the Lord it was the Lord that got on the Warp Lightning, and just not being able to kill him probably hurt me a lot. I don't know why Queek didn't just chase him, as I did put a specific attack order on him. Although, we failed again in having the Warp Lightning being safe. Although again, the slaves are expendable. It was just the observation, it seemed, that they were not shooting. But I was not paying that much attention to them if I were honest. Maybe they were shooting, because I should be perfectly fine killing slave rats, right? I think one of the main perks of them is they also regenerate their troops really quickly. It's maybe having them completely wiped out that's a bad thing, as I miss out on all the experience that they gain up to that point. I like to think that was better, but again, it's figuring out if maybe those Skaven slaves were a mistake. And now I think I know of a role for them. Just have them chase down anyone that's kind of routed, and ideally push them off the map maybe, or finish them off if they have low enough health. I think that might be a good use for them. Might be. Although they're not true harassment units. And then it's just a question what to do with the gutter runners. It seemed like they were tying them up pretty decently, since their snare net will slow down the spiders, and I think then they'll have more mobility than them as a result. It's just the archers that are a bit of a problem. They're war beasts. I just don't know if these are considered large or not. That's the only thing I am uncertain of. Again, something I'm gonna have to look into. But I'd like to think that was better. Now, the one thing I'm really afraid of, though, is just moving my army forward, as that means I get stuck in the melee that much sooner, even though it would give me the space for my Warp Lightning thrower. Although back here isn't too terrible and it'll be a little bit safer. We'll see if it plays out as I like. Let us see if third time's the charm, shall we? Again, another important factor is to know how my units will behave, as these storm vermin, it seemed like they were holding their own incredibly well there. And it's hard to really say if that has to do with the leadership, as it seems like it's not that drastically different after all in leadership, and we saw how quickly the slaves have been breaking. Hard to say though. Either way, get these guys in position. We'll see how we can get more of the storm vermin, because that's another thing I could do. Maybe I should have them group up on the same target. They probably would make great bodyguard units for Queek, I won't lie. As Queek can be a bit vulnerable when surrounded, as there are also modifiers for taking more damage when I'm hitting the rear and on the side, from what I understand. So having a bunch of storm vermin just tag along with him is probably a great idea. Now slingers, I guess I'll have you hang back and just cover what's appropriate and hope that works out. Now how far does this... I'm trying to see how exactly far this shoots. Okay, just on the edge of the deployment. So I'll be able to fire almost immediately. Now Eshin, what do I want you to do? Dodges blades and missiles with ease, so maybe they can go after the archers. I just don't know the specifics is the problem, as I don't see the actual skill. Yeah, how exactly are they able to dodge? Sure, they have physical resistance. But how are they effective at dodging missiles or arrows? Because that possibly could be a good use for them. Although, I think they're still really good at dealing with the spiders. I think that might be the best value I can get out of them, as flanking and the charging could be scary. Hey, Queek, you just chill in the middle. You do your thing, and hopefully I can have a better result here, as these arrows are going to be a pain. Although, with no support, I'm probably not going to do a whole lot. Let's be serious with the gutter runners. I want to hit the biggest clump possible to try and get more damage. Although, that's not entirely true. I have the Scathe Menace below to help with that. And we're hitting 2 unit squads there. That's pretty nice. Since we've seen that the Menace below is not all that effective at dealing with them just yet. Can I? Okay, slaves, you do your thing. We are getting shot at, which is a bit of a problem, and backing up is probably a terrible idea with that said. Now, can we flank and do damage to that stuff really quickly? I think backing up with these guys is probably a terrible idea, as it's just, again, giving them free shots on my back. Can you guys fire? That's part of what I want you to do. Spider's taking damage. That's pretty good there. I don't see you shooting is a bit of the problem I'm having here. Okay, there we go. And we have slaves. Yeah, clan rats, they're fine. We can shoot them. Storm vermin go in. You're probably overdue to get in the fight. Although, if you gain flank, that's a bit of a problem. I don't think I could chase them down, sadly. Yeah, they're getting the morale back. So maybe that was, if I was paying attention, I'm surprised that the gunner runners still weren't chasing them, to be honest.
Finally. Run, chase.
Nope, this is not going well. And now we're getting flanked, which is a bit of a problem. Now you just gotta pay attention to what's rallying. I am shooting them, but sadly, I don't want to deal with those things anymore, but I can't quite. They rallied, dang it. So that menace from below is not really helping me here. Queek is now running away because he was isolated. And he did absolutely no damage to the Lord, which saddens me. Again, the Storm Vermin, yes, fighting with the clan rats is probably what was a terrible idea. I need the Storm Vermin with him. As I've made apparent, things fall apart really quickly there, and they eventually still got to the Warp Lightning. Now, that's finally broken, but I think it's too little too late there, sadly. If I was paying attention to that, I would have had the gunner runners just run it, force it off the map maybe. It would have took a lot of time though, it probably was not really worth it. But yeah, Queek needs a bodyguard squad, it's that simple. I can't have them just separated. At least one of the Storm Vermin need to fight with Queek. Which comes down to the question of watching where the Lord's going, because I want to kill the Lord since that's what Queek's good at doing after all. It's really tricky to do though, because again the clan rats are going to fall apart on me. There were some good things going on though. The slingers with the clan rats were actually winning one of those fights there. It's just impossible to know if those were orcs or goblins. I was not paying attention to that, if I were serious. And all of them are basically shielded too, which does hurt against my range a bit unless I'm flanking. And it doesn't want to tell me the cost of these things. So I have no idea how expensive they are, if it's worth going after them.
Who dares challenge me?
Gonna keep on trying. This is probably one of the main tough battles I'll have to deal with for a while. And it might be smart to just stay still and keep building up my army. Although, if I kept building up my army, I'm just gonna have nothing but more clan rats and slingers, which doesn't really help me all that much. Let's be serious. I realistically probably missed my main opportunity to engage them, which was last turn. If anything, I probably should have gone after them at the very beginning, is what it looks like. As that may have been their main headquarters, and as a result, they could have had a lot more troops as a result. Although I think having the slingers separate there, at least supporting, could seem like it was pretty decent. To an extent. It makes my flanks a little bit stronger. I just gotta deal with our friend, the spider, which I think we have an answer to. And actually, I like to have these guys maybe still take the hits, though. Ideally. Since again, they're expendable, they're not really... I'm not relying on them to do damage, and apparently they do have hit point regeneration too. So the more they run away and get out of battle, they can regenerate their health, if only a limited amount. We'll try this again. I gotta make sure these guys are positioned properly as to help protect the warp lightning. So in theory, if I could deal with the spiders well, it's going to be tricky because the gunner runners always need someone supporting them, otherwise I won't beat the spider, even if I can slow them. Only acts on targets when in the area, so that only truly works when they're within reach. So maybe that's not as effective as I would thought, which is why I need miss below. So Vanguard's not going to be very helpful here, is what I'm learning. And dang it, this elevation sucks. This is probably the best I could hope for there, and try and maximize my damage a bit. We'll see what happens. Nope, I forgot to move quick, but that's okay, we're planning on staying here a bit. Yeah, let them just come to me, I guess, as that would make it easier for my slingers to support. My menace below will be available sooner. But I need to trick this thing to come after me. And make sure I maximize my damage. Menace below is about to come on up. Now, is the AI gonna fall for this? Because I want to turn off skirmisher mode to make sure you do your stuff. Nope, they're just not going after. They're not just taking the bait, sadly. As a result, I'm gonna have to deal with that as the problem. Because now I'm too close there. Alright. Alright, just get away there. You can outrun those guys pretty easily. Alright, Queek, this is your chance to shine. And I do have shields to take these hits pretty well. I just gotta make sure I don't get flanked, or at the very least, be prepared to flank them. So far I'm getting wrecked right now. I have Storm Vermin there, hopefully that's good. We'll try and flank there, although it's 2-to-1 odds here, I don't like that. Reinforcements are in. We've done a lot of damage to the Lord, but now I can't actually chase him down. Is a bit of the problem. And now my Warp Lightning is vulnerable. I just don't have enough troops, which is an odd predicament for Skaven. As my Storm Vermin are not in a position to actually respond to this, can they? We are winning some of the fights though, but where's the Lord? Now I gotta keep an eye. Yeah, you're just running away, sadly. And don't really have the support to really deal with them. Yeah, that is unfortunate there. The clan rats break and then the warp lightning just is exposed to get killed. And I thought I gave you an order to go after the warlord. As a result, you're just by yourself, which I don't like. And I have been forgetting my mess below, but... Dang it. My plan against the spider went terribly, and my gun runner had no support. One of the things you want to do with those things, with the range units that have multiples of them, so ideally, one is chasing after one while a second one attacks them. The problem is, my slaves cannot actually chase these things if they go after the gutter runner, which is a bit of the problem. Which is why I would love nothing more than to actually have these spiders fight my clan rats that I spawned from Mass Below. Even though the odds say it could be close to 50-50.
Stench of others, too strong.
And I need 2 food, or 2 population, which is going to take a little while, I think. Unfortunately.
Gracious, scum away.
So what probably happens is I should have gone after Mount Arachnos first to deny their hero from getting as strong as they are now. I'm sure there's a lot of other things I could do. I'm just being led to believe that I could win this fight just because it looks like it's close to a 50-50 chance. So I'm doing something wrong, clearly. It probably has something to do with my gutter runners not being able to contribute all that much.
Quick fight it all.
Only problem is, how do I deal with the flanking of the hatchlings then?
Who dares challenge me?
Well, that's what the Menace Below is supposed to be for, and it's not working, sadly. The AI decided to go after something else because it was too smart for my own good. Alright, let's give this one more try. Storm Vermin are doing a decent job there, but I need to figure out how to deal with the clan rats. Although, could I always just have replacement clan rats just to fill the buffer? But how long do these last? 45 seconds, I believe. I don't know how long exactly it's supposed to last, which is a bit of a concern, as they're not indefinite. Yeah, degrade over time. That's why I kind of want to avoid having them serve as like a mainstay unit. Otherwise, I don't really know what would be good layout. I don't have much high ground to kind of excel too much at. Although I am sort of winning the fights on the left a little bit. I'm just breaking on the right flank is a problem. And as a result, they get on the warp cannon, the warp lightning that way. And I can't have the warp lightning weighing back because, as you see, that's a terrible placement for them. But at the same time, I haven't been controlling them best either, in hindsight. As they kind of were shooting optimally. Now, is this what I want? Now, I don't know how much they're supposed to regenerate. But if they retreat, regenerate, come back, then that's pretty good use for them. And we are terrifying our lord. I just can't get the killing blow is a bit of a problem. Oh, I didn't realize you lose armor for that, so I need to time that properly when I'm in a fight that I'm actually going to do good work with. Otherwise, yeah, this is probably part of the reason why I'm having a hard time with protecting these is I need to balance out my layout a bit. That could be part of my problem. I wonder if maybe I have the spiders just come in and then engage them with the gunner runners afterwards. As theoretically, nothing else can kind of engage it properly. But maybe this will help a little bit on the right flank. And these guys they're supposed to be stalking, but it looks like they were all revealed. I don't recall a notification they were spotted, which also gives them stealth. How do I take advantage of that, though? Outside of going after the archers. Which honestly does sound like a terrible idea. I just don't know what the hell dodge is supposed to mean. How good are they actually at dodging weaponry fire? As it's not really saying here all that much anywhere at all, besides physical resistance. So I'm left wondering, if I'm completely honest. I'm gonna give this one more try. And I think... Oh, where's the spiders? Wow, the spiders are a completely different spot. I think I'm okay with that. But that was something I was not expecting. Enjoy your free shots. I don't really have a strong middle area as I would like. But let's try and hit as many of a big a clump as we can. I don't know if shooting the warlord is going to help me, just because of how tricky it'd be to hit him. They're revealed and I want to shoot. Where are the archers? Yeah, I'm trying to wonder where the hell the archers are. I'm a little thrown off by where they're all hitting. Alright, just get the bracing, protect Queek. And I don't think you're anti-infantry, so that's fine. Now, gunner runners should be fine. They're actually distracting 3 units this time, which is pretty good there. And Queek, please join in on the fray. Yeah, they're just harassing me, which is not very convenient. Yeah, they're distracting 3 units, which I don't know what kind of units they are, to be fair. Alright, buff up Queek. And hope we can do something about this. Because my storm vermin are getting surrounded, I think. Yeah, sadly, I don't have storm vermin over here, actually. Let's get them flanking. Yeah, you just keep harassing. And see how that goes. Clan rats, do your thing before you start expiring on me. And these are clan rats. I should be free to fire on them. I should be, in theory. They got their wall going, which is what that green effect is. I am taking a lot of damage here. Dang it. I want to see when my menace below is going to activate. This is unfortunate. Can I kill the Lord? How much? Okay, the lore is completely broken right now. Sadly, I can't kill him off. Unfortunately. Okay, they're running away, that's fine. Get them back in there. I haven't really been paying attention to my left flank, but a lot of that's because I already know they can do decently. I really want to kill him, but I don't think the clan rats are actually able to do the task, and my gunner runners can't chase him down either. Now I probably realistically should just keep shooting. Alright, you guys get back in the fray. Protect. And they are losing their morale quite a bit. Storm Vermin are going to take the hits there. Gunner runners are getting exhausted. Oh, they're way down there. That's... Yeah, it's kind of funny. Why do I only have 4 use of Menace Below? I figured I would have had 1 more use. If I were completely serious, and oh god. Queek needs support now. Those Storm Vermin are going to do fine. I want them to shatter. So that way they don't rally at all. Those are clan rats I spawned earlier. I didn't realize they would last so long. No, actually, I don't want you getting flanked. Now, gunner runners. Yeah, everything is sadly breaking at the moment. It was going so much better too. I just probably could have gotten more Menace Below. Yeah, and these guys, because they're together, are also causing a bit of problems. I need more clan rats, I think. Because I think I'm about to lose this now. Unfortunately. And I shouldn't even be trying to shoot at them, but they're being meleeed right now. I am trying to figure out if force him to run. Yeah, leadership is eager, so it's not... Unless I kill him, he's still giving him a modifier, I think. Yeah, there is no modifier with him still being on the field. Which is why I want to kill him. I'm just curious, what's his speed? 36 versus Queek's 45. Queek could have ran him down. That probably would have been a smart idea. With that said, that was a lot better. I want to do one more try just because of that alone. I'm just wondering, why did I only have 4 uses of Menace Below, though? As I clearly paid for 5, and at least that's what it showed me, so why do I have access to only 4? That's confusing me a bit. I really like that there. Maybe I could have controlled Warp Lightning a little bit more. And killing that Warlord is probably key, as with what I saw, there was no negative modifier until he actually dies, dang it. Getting him out of the fight is still good, don't get me wrong, but if I can give him the army that leadership penalty, that makes a big difference. I'm just going to have to figure out how to get Queek after him. Because can the clan rats actually run him down? It still would be a lot of armor to get through. I don't think they can do the task. If I were to use Menace Below to try and kill that weakened lord. I don't know how exciting this is to watch me just bang my head against the same army over and over again, but I feel like we're gaining something still. I'm just curious movement. 45. Yeah, I can run down the war boss. The problem is their armor, though. I don't think the clan rats would even be able to kill him still, even with that said. Yeah. I start off with 3, I gone up with 5. Why can't I get more? Let's do 2 more just for the sake of it. Just these 2 alone might make the difference.
Battle fight, yes, yes.
But I'm a little let down that I'm missing out on an extra use, it feels like, of my menace below. Either way, can this be the final one to end off this episode? This arguably disastrous episode with me failing so badly so early on. But again, this is probably going to be one of the harder fights I'm going to be doing early on. So succeeding at this is going to make a big difference. Or at least it's going to start snowballing in my advantage, I want to believe. Now get these guys up here. Get everyone in place. I don't even need to spread them anymore. Try and remember what I did with my 4th clan rat there. It was kind of interesting how the spider was actually in the middle of the group this time, though. That was a little bit different, because it ultimately did a terrible thing by committing suicide, which I don't know is a very good representation of what to expect. It just benefits me quite a bit, needless to say. And of course, having this leadership aura could be helpful as well, to keep people from breaking. A leadership bonus. Units within the range of both the aura and encouraging you will receive larger of the 2 bonuses. So I'm just curious, how much of a leadership bonus is that? Doesn't want to tell me. And I'm also getting a leadership penalty for the game difficulty as well, which is a very minor thing, I guess, but another thing I need to do is try and keep these guys separated, so that way the skirmishers, because what skirmish mode does is they'll automatically run away when they're being threatened by a melee unit, but at the same time it overrides all their move orders and actions, which can be very problematic. Alright, there is again there. Now let's hit the biggest clump, which would be these guys right here. I don't know when they're gonna shoot, but I ideally don't want them to move, though. There they go, boys. I like to think that was an effective shot. Now, can I try and harass the spiders? Because I do have menace below. So I want to use that to deal with the spiders, because we clearly see we can do that. Now I gotta be very mindful of this. I want to maximize my damage. And they're actually hitting inside the trees, which is kind of cute. Now all I would like more than anything is to have the spiders just go after the clan rats. Or I'm gonna need buffer units. I'm probably also making this hard for me by not really pausing or using the slow-mo, I will be honest, but... Let's try surround this lord and crush him quickly. Nope, storm vermin are being engaged. This could be bad. I want Queek to get buffed, but let's keep in mind. Nope. They're kind of going AWOL. We don't want that. And protect the warp lightning while we can. Nope, clan rats are doing their thing, as to be expected. And the lore is getting wrecked right now, which is good. Can we kill him this time, though? That would be the ultimate dream. Because I like to think the warp lightning's getting good shots in, but we need to reinforce still. Now, where's the Lord? Now, where are my storm vermin? Oh, they're breaking right now, that's what. I want menace below, back up. Although I think things are already going bad, because for some reason this lord keeps getting away from me and I don't like it. As I don't think I can... Enemy lord is dead, but now is the honest question, is that going to help make the difference? Because I'm kind of already breaking a bit. See, storm vermin are breaking. I can outrun the orcs, I'll take a little bit of damage, which probably is not what I want, in all honesty. Alright, they are currently breaking. Now, where is the crew for them? Okay, they're right there, but they're running and getting wrecked. This is not good. I thought you were supposed to be able to outrun them there, Queek. I would love to know how that war boss is able to always elude me when I specifically have Queek kind of focused on going after him. Yeah, and they have too much health, so... Yeah, there's the Lord is Dead modifier. Alright, let's give Queek some support, which I probably should have done down here. It's still looking like a loss, though, sadly. Alright, they scared them off the field, unfortunately. And I should be able to... Is it possible I can rally these guys? In theory, should be faster. And now Queek is finally free when I decide to have him fight. Which may not be as exciting as it may seem. Oh, these are storm vermin too, which is a bit of a problem. They've been serving me well, but I don't think they're good enough for this. Which is also why clan rats are useful in this exchange. Although, bad time to get flanked by everything else. This is not looking good. Oh yeah, those are my guys running away. Everything's a bit of a mess. Come on, Queek, I believe in you. Oh yeah, although, now I don't have my warp lightning throwers anymore, unless I can somehow get someone else to man them, which I can't. And apparently they're not completely broken or shattered, which is a shame. That would be something I'd love to figure out, is how to get shattered. Valiant attempt. But maybe this is not really meant to be for me. Although, we know the ultimate problem is just not having Queek with the rest of the army because I had to go after the dang Lord. If I can get Queek back into the army relatively quickly, that would be nice, but how the hell is that Lord constantly getting away? I had him surrounded everything too, and it still didn't matter. Otherwise, who's doing the most damage? I want to keep going there, but I think it's time to plan for the next episode, the next few turns. As informative as that was, they still have too much health on everything. Yeah. They just have way too many troops, which is something that goes against me too, I suppose. It looked like it was a fair match, but clearly I just didn't have the tools available to really take full advantage of that. A bit of a learning experience, but I'll restart from the last turn for the next episode, and we'll see what we can do about this problem of ours.
Not my fault. It's yours.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. I will see you next time.